Hello and welcome to Rage Creep. My name is Jay, and today Games Workshop did officially confirm Warhammer 9th Edition 40k was coming. Warhammer 40k 9th Edition was coming, and we already knew that because of the article because of the PDF FAQ that they'd put on. My first gut reaction after watching the live stream today is disappointment. Mainly, I think, because of how little they actually truly revealed. And that's what we'll talk. We're going to talk very briefly about everything. I might come back and make an extra video about one thing in particular, but for now, let's just have a look at the whole thing holistically. I think it's frustrating because there's a lot of good, cool, interesting stuff there. So this is the website. This is the Warhammer community website. There was a live stream. They have now got a new website. There's a lot of interesting details, like a new app's coming. That's the only thing that comes off the top of my head. That the box is almost certainly going to be Necrons and it could be Primaris. But so there is a cool cinematic. The audio might play. We're not going to watch it all because let's pause. Let's actually mute it and let's just look through it. It's actually a really cool cinematic. Now, if they could do more of this, I would love it. Obviously, it probably costs them quite a lot because the quality of this stuff is pretty damn cool. The whole cinematic, fantastic, right? I love the cinematic for sure. For sure, the cinematic is fantastic. That's how they opened up the live stream, and I've got to say it was cool. So we'll go from the bottom, which is, basically what they did. So there's a lot of cool artwork. I mean, not gonna lie, this is fantastic. This is cool. I wish they would do more of that. For somebody who's not really into the lore, I find it a little bit difficult to get into sometimes. There's going to be a new unit of Primaris. I forgot what they're called. Assault Intercessors. Basically, the Primaris Space Marines with chainswords. Chainswords are cool. Ain't nobody can argue that, and I won't hear it if you try. And there's also going to be some new Necrons. They were like, these Necrons don't look like the other Necrons, and I was like, they all look the same to me. But again, Idigbia will be jumping for joy. I'm sure, Chapter Master Vara could be like fawning over these. He'd be like, "Oh, this is incredible." But for me, I'm just a little bit disappointed that they announced this one model, this one unit, and then this unit. And then I think the Silent King for the Necrons came back. But that was pretty much it. In terms of the game, they announced 9 things. They talked about 9 things. I'm doing 10 things, but they did 9 things. There's going to be an app. It's going to be a list building app. Some stuff you can track during it. All sounds good. I mean, apps are always cool, especially in this day and age. It's sort of weird if you don't have one. Apparently, the Age of Sigmar one's very well liked, so this would make sense. We'll quickly look at the 9 things, but there's a new website, and that's it. There's not much to it, so that's why I'm a little bit disappointed. It's not like anything we saw is bad. I just think that the amount of stuff there is not that interesting. We didn't get even an indication of release date, although we're pretty sure it's going to be 2 months, probably July, maybe September, which was it was weird because it was probably always going to be July, but as COVID-19 delayed it to September, we actually don't know that. So we'll play this, but because we sort of need to listen to it. So they're talking about number one is they've polished the rules. That's it. They're just tidying stuff up. Number 2 is this Crusade, which is this narrative thing. I think, that is number 2. Number 2 is the narrative, which sounds cool. I'm not going to lie. The narrative, everything can be upgraded. If you get injured, you can go into a dreadnought. All that kind of stuff sounds really cool. But I'm not a narrative player. It's not something I'm interested in. Number 3 was that basically I like this one is a complaint that I'd heard about a lot. And one thing that weirdly it ties into one reason I never really properly played 40k. So in this one, you're going to have more starting off with more command points, but they're restructuring how the command points are done. So I think in the game, if you had extra specific battalions, you were getting more. Battalions might not be the right phrase, but if you built your list from one book, you were possibly at a disadvantage because you got more command points by having specific chapters and stuff like this. So here they spoke about how it's going to be sort of reversed, they said. I think so. If you build from one book, and then that'll allow you to like get extra stuff. I don't really know what I'm talking about, so don't hate me there. But the command point system is changing, and it sounded like a very good move. Tanks are back, so I'm not playing the game, but apparently tanks. It was very easy for tanks to get bogged down and stopped. So I don't know what they're going to do. They're going to run over little grotlings or whatever they're called. Basically, that's not going to be less of a thing. They said tanks are going to kill you and then shoot. So for those of you who play the game, that sounds like tanks are back on the menu. Going to be reasonable. Number 5 is terrain, which is one that I really like the sound of. I think there's a problem with 40k. Again, I don't know it too much, but basically, like, is it the first floor of the ruins the ground floor doesn't give you cover, but the first floor does. Basically, they said they got a little bit too in detail with that, and they want to like loosen that up a bit, which is good for me because I have a terrain channel and making terrain's my thing. So in that sense, I'm happy about that. Number 6 is the one where I might come back to. Basically, it's smaller battles. They're saying that the game is balanced around smaller battles. Well, battles at different levels, not just smaller battles. So it could be like 500 points, 1,000 points, 2,000 points, and the game will be balanced for all of them, which is interesting. But it's very interesting for me because I hate the idea of painting like 2,000 points worth of bloody primary space marines. Like, that does not fill me with joy. I hate painting. So that's my thing. So yeah, so the battles are every size. Reserves are changing. I don't know too much about that one, so I'm not going to comment on it at all. Let's actually listen to Daka because I'm not 100% sure what that is. Let's listen to this one. Can't remember it.
Cleverest general among your friends. Time to prove it, sunshine. Hit him where it hurts. 8. Big gun.
Did I miss something there?
All angles.
Oh no, number 7 is reserves. Bloody hell, Jay. I'm an idiot. Reserves are changing. For some reason, I thought 7 was different. But blast weapons are changing. That, again, is something, if you play the game, I'm sure you'll be happy about. They thought there was an issue there. And then number 9 is, I think, probably simplifying flies. Apparently, flyers now inadvertently fly off the board. That's fine. They can just come back on, and they've tied that up. So, I mean, they're all right, those things. A couple of them, I think, I didn't mean to actually do that, but a couple of them, if you actually play the game, let's say you play the game competitively, how many of these are you interested in? Yeah, simplifying the rules, that makes sense. The Crusade, no. Command points, probably yes. Tanks, yes. So if you play the competitive terrain, the terrain one probably goes back to number 1 in simplifying the game a little bit. The battles of every size, no, because you probably have a big army anyway. Reserves, maybe it says be more strategic. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff here that does talk about competitive. And there was a guy on the stream who's been hired by Games Workshop to run their events, and he apparently ran Nova. So they do seem to be eyeing up the competitive a little bit more. Personally, I still want to go. I want to see alternative actions. I want to see I do one thing, you do one thing, rather than you do your whole turn. But it's nice to see them do that. But I just think overall, we've seen a cool cinematic. Yes, you've announced an app. Yes, you spoke about some of the things that you might change the rules for. We never actually saw specific rules, really. You spoke about them. And then we saw the Silent King right at the end, which I don't actually have a clip for because it doesn't appear to be on the website yet. But we've seen a new Necron warrior, which, by the way, I've always liked. Necrons, Orcs, and Primaris, Space Marines. If I was going to do any factions, they're the factions. So I might buy this cost, the new box. But we've not seen the new box. They're not showing that yet. Which is like, I don't know, a bit of a... So we basically get your Necron Warrior and Assault Intercessor. That's it. Like, that just feels... It feels meek in comparison to the hype that they had. Like, I would have loved to have seen them go a little bit more, like... a ham on it, really announce a lot more stuff and even show the box, like, because it's probably been delayed. They're probably a bit worried about showing everything and leaking it too soon. But I feel like I just wasted an hour and a half watching it. Like, basically, we saw 3 new models, cool cinematic, a new app, spoke about some rules, called that a day. All right, fine. But yeah, so you might have noticed I'm making a few more 40k videos because, one, I don't know. I'm making Warhammer 40k terrain on my terrain channel, and it just gave me a bit into it. And then I was thinking, well, Kill Team is in who knows where, it's kind of no man's land kind of stuff. So, and everybody's going to be talking about 40k, and I'm just like, I get hyped up, don't I? I just get hyped up. So, a bit disappointed in that. But that's from somebody who doesn't really play 40k. So, am I wrong to be disappointed? If you're a 40k fan, were you disappointed, or were you super stoked? Do let me know in the comments. I hope you have a most beautiful day. Predictions for release date. I don't know. It's almost hinting at July. Like, I feel like they're almost hinting at July because they're saying not too long. But that feels like it would be too soon for a hype window for a new edition. So September might be more likely. We'll have to wait and see. Have a beautiful day. Goodbye.